All right, I am starting this broadcast, and the trick about technology and with Google Hangouts is I know there's a little bit of a lag time delay. So hopefully you're able to get on the line, and if you're on, if you would, in the chat box, just chat the city, or not city, state, country, province that you're calling in from in the chat box. So I'm hoping that I can see that people are there and you're chatting in where you're calling from. Really quickly, you can just type it all in there in the chat box so we can get this going. Yay! Okay, Kim from California. Howdy, Lynn. Lynn from Austin. Brooke from Pennsylvania. Vivian. Okay, love it. Okay, it's working. Oh, the beauty of technology, right? So a couple things I want to just go over. I love this. As you guys can see, we've got a lot of people on the line coming from all over. I'm looking to the right because here is where I can see my chat box. Here is where my webcam. But welcome. I'm so excited that you are here, that you can make it. With the Google Hangout of this size, with this many of us connected, sometimes bandwidth could be a problem. Eventually, I might look blurry to you at first, but eventually it'll kind of straighten out and you'll be able to see everything. If you can, make sure you don't have Netflix or streaming items in the background. And this way you can see this and hear it with clarity. Greetings, Fran from Virginia, Colorado Springs. We've got all sorts of people. I love it. Super cool. Welcome. Joan from Illinois. All right, great. I'm just going to give it a couple minutes. It's only 4:01. I said I'd start at 4 o'clock. Here we go. Connecticut. That's very, very cool. And I hope you all can see all the people on the line for this presentation, How to Make 2017 Your Year for Home Staging, Color, and Design. So a little explanation. You already, I see all of you got pretty comfortable with the chat box. That's pretty awesome. And what I'm going to do is, if you have to leave, I got a lot of emails prior to from people, Audra, I don't want to miss the webinar. I get it. If you have to leave, you are going to get a webinar replay link via email. So if you do have to leave early, but trust me, you're going to want to stay on this webinar because I am going to give some special offers and I'm going to go over some special materials that won't be available in the replay. So you will want to stay, but I just want you to know that. And I am going to be taking questions and all along the way. So enough about me. Let's get to my presentation. I'm going to screen share, and I'm so glad that you all are getting used to the chat because I'm going to be asking you questions along the way. And of course, if you are having a problem not seeing anything, it sounds like it's all working in live. Let me screen share my presentation. I love it. We're still getting, where are you calling from? Enter it in. All right, screen sharing. So hopefully you can see my now instead of me. You can see my presentation. There it is. Okay, can you all see my presentation now instead of me? I just want to make sure. Just say yes. I just need to see one yes in the chat box and then it'll be work. All right. Oh man, we have someone from Costa Rica. That is awesome. Okay. So I'm assuming you can all see my presentation. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, it's working. Yay. I had like this frightening moment when I first connected this, you know, because first it just wasn't working. Have we all had technology problems? Yes. All right. So let's jump into this presentation. I have a lot to go over, a lot. So let's get started. Before I get started, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Audra Slinky. I'm president of the Home Staging Resource. We're the largest online staging and redesign training company, but I didn't always do that. Before I did that, I owned an internet marketing and research company well before my babies. This is a photo of my first baby, and I loved it. I loved working for the corporate world. I loved training. I used to train Fortune 500 companies on internet marketing and research. And it was a great biz and I loved it. But when I had my first baby, which you can see here, he's so cute, I decided I sold that business and I decided to take on the business of being a mom. And we all, if you are a mom, you know that's its own, you know, challenge. So I did that and loved it. And then I had baby number 2. And as you can see, kept me busy, but I had that business of being a mom. I felt like I was kind of got that a little more wired. Once baby number 2 comes, you kind of feel like you do a little bit more. And I decided I wanted to get back into something. And this time I was going to do something that I was passionate about, so passionate. And my passion is, and this is where I'm going to test you guys, is I've always been passionate about design. So I decided I'm going to do what I love. I'm not going to do a 9 to 5. I'm going to try and do something with design. And I discovered the world of staging. This is way back in 2005. And the reason why I knew this was a passion is I had the sickness. Now, I didn't know at the time I had the sickness, but I know now after over 12 years of training people that the sickness is this. And this is my big question for you. If you're on this line right now, guys, if you have been rearranging rooms since you were a child and you have this strong passion for design, you love watching HGTV, you read magazines, but particularly if you have been rearranging rooms since you were a child, please chat in yes or put in me in the chat box. If that is you, I want you to know that you have the sickness. And here's the deal. We think that everybody has the sickness, but they don't. Guess what? You are less than 10%. So if that's you and you're looking into staging or you are a stager, you are in the right place because it really starts, yes, me, Christine, Tonya, Leslie, yeah, it starts there, guys. It really does. And the thing is, we assume everybody else has this sickness and they don't. I told you less than 10% of people can envision potential in the space of a home. That means that 90% of people don't have the sickness. And trust me, I'm right about this because these 2 boys, now they're grown boys and they never rearrange their rooms. Never. They don't have it. They don't have a sickness. That's okay. I do have a sickness. So here we are many years later. I created Home Staging Resource. I decided that I had this passion, I had this sickness, got into the field and realized at the time, however many of you have started the business in 2005, nobody knew what staging was. So when I started it, nobody knew what it was. And there was no guidance, there was no manual, there was a 2-day classroom, but the classroom really focused on the how-to, and I already knew I knew it. I mean, I have this sickness. I've been doing this since I was a kid. So I knew I needed the business. It wasn't there. And when I got into staging and my business grew, because I knew internet marketing, I knew how to create a website, I had my sales funnels in place, my phone was ringing right away, and I had people like my mom who lives in a different city say, I want to get into staging, how would I do it? Well, in the back of my mind, I thought, oh my goodness, my mother could never get into staging because she'd need to know how to do the internet marketing, she'd need to know all the forms, she'd need to know the business side, and that's just not being taught. So guess what? I followed my second passion, and that is into training. And I started the Home Staging Resource. And here we are 12 years later and still going strong. It's an online staging training where I put everything I've learned, I'm always adding to it into the business. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell. Now let's get to your story, because I know a lot of you, I see a lot of you have this sickness. I love that. This is a quick screenshot of this webinar. Over 1,000 of you are on the line, and I really want to thank you because almost half of you completed my survey. I asked a couple questions. I just wanted to know where you're at, if you've been staging, how long, or how many years, or just thinking about it, just seeing where you're at, because that's important. And then I asked you a question of, what is it that you want to learn? And I got some great responses. Suzanne said she wants to learn what important things for inventory, furnishings, accessories, how to stage for a realtor photo shoot. That's pretty important. Kathleen wanted to know does she have to live in a large metro area to make a living staging and redesign? No, Kathleen, you don't. And I talk about there's pros and cons to living in a rural and in our metro. So we'll talk about that. Inventory, vacant staging, pricing. Ellen has a bunch of that. Teresa's just wondering, how does she know if there's not just a ton of stagers already in her area? I'm going to talk about that before you jump in. That makes sense to question your market and do some research. How to market yourself if you're a newbie. Allison's just getting started. How do I market my business? I'm going to talk about that. New one wants to know how to start a staging business, marketing tools, buying furniture versus rental. Oh my goodness, yeah, there's a lot to know. So you can read all these questions, and you saw I got 480 of them. So I felt like, oh my goodness, I have an hour. I really have a lot to go over. So this is what we're going to go over. We're going to go over a lot. I'm going to speak as fast as I can to go over it. First of all, to know the future of the industry, we need to know kind of the past. So I'm just going to go over a little bit of an overview and where I see this industry going. Understanding the real estate market, verbiage, and using statistics. So we're going to go over those. Knowing yourself and picking your poison early on. When you pick your poison, you have a plan and you can be intentional about your business. I think some of my veteran stagers on this line are probably like, oh, I didn't learn that. So we're going to go over that. Broadening your business and making money, right? We don't do this for fun. We need to make money at it. Recognizing, communicating your value. That's important. Refining your art. Let's talk about trends, what to buy. Let's look at some photos. Who doesn't love that? Supercharging your marketing, getting your phone to ring. How do you do that? We're going to talk about that. And finally, making 2017 your year. Okay, I have a lot to go over, so buckle your seatbelts. I hope you're ready. Let's jump in. Oh, and special offers. So this is incentive to stay. I want you to stay. I have some special offers for all those people who made it to the hour mark. So let's talk about the staging industry then and now. I told you a little bit about when I started the Home Staging Resource, which I call HSR, because that's a mouthful. In 2005, my goal was to make the practice of home staging an industry standard like home inspections. Remember, nobody back then even knew what home staging was. Think about when you learned what home staging was and how recent that was. I'm happy to say things have really changed. In 2000 to 2008, it was really about educating people, educating agents, educating sellers. No one knew what staging was, really. And then came HGTV. Yay, thank goodness for HGTV, right? It definitely is pros and cons in our industry, but it helps to educate. In 2008 to 2013, the bubble burst. Remember those days? The economy went bad, and the housing market bubble just popped, and now it wasn't a matter of staging to make money on your home. People just needed a stage tweak to sell. And 2014 to now, depending on your market across the country, home prices are back on the rise in all areas. Staging is hot, and finding your niche will help you control your business. And that was one of the questions. How do I know if staging is hot? Well, because of the home prices eking up, people want to make the most they can on their home. So it's definitely getting hot. My contractors are busy all over. Service industries are busy. Designers are busy. Designers who had no business in 2010 are now busy. So looking ahead, this is where I'm seeing the industry going for staging, and this is why I'm quite excited. A recent study showed that millennials are beginning to buy. They're beginning to buy their first home. Baby boomers are planning to move. So remember, when there's movement in the housing market, that's when stagers are busy. But on the flip side, and this is another factor to staging, and it's called redesign, interior styling, or design. I kind of describe all of those things. I always say it's the other side to the staging coin. Baby, they're either going to move or they're going to decide they want to love where they live, and they're doing design work. So there's a market there for everybody, and that's what's important that you know, both. So is it about quick sale or top dollar? And, having gone through that industry, kind of looking at that history, here's the story. In an upward seller's housing market, it's about not leaving money on the table. One of the questions I got from you and you all is, how do I convince agents the value of staging when they say that the homes are just selling? Well, here's the deal. Here's the story. The agent that's focusing on the quick sale, because that's what people thought of, that was what people thought of in a downward market. The downward market, it was about just selling. In an upward market, it's about being the agent who gets the best price for your clients, because neighbors talk. And the agents that are getting the best price for their clients are the ones who use professional photos and professional stagers. They're dialing in those homes. Buyers expect it. So that kind of makes staging an economy-proof industry. In fact, a little side story, the very first person who signed up for my training, Charles Wood, he is going to the RESA conference next week. He is still obviously in business through the economy-proof industry. The very first person who signed up for my training over 11, 12 years ago. So that's pretty cool. But here's the deal. As a stager, you got to learn to tell the ugly story. Education is key. We have to tell the ugly story. The ugly story is, The agent who is focused on the quick sale and doesn't think they need a professional stager or any kind of staging is going to be known as the agent who doesn't get the best price for their clients. Using staging statistics really helps. Here's some statistics. Oh, I just noticed in the chat. I want to make sure before we jump in, you guys can hear me all okay, right? Okay, good. I'm seeing the admin. Thank you, Scott. Just want to make sure you can hear me as I'm jumping into these statistics. I'm moving pretty quickly, so that's good. Yes, Emily, thank you. Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. I just saw somebody say they didn't hear me in that, I get that panic moment. All right. These statistics were from the National Association of Realtors. It was the last statistics they did where they profiled for the year 2015 and created a home staging report. And you may say, 2015, yeah, it's been a year. They had never done any statistics on home staging ever. So this was like a milestone for our little industry. But 95% of buyers agents say the home staging has at least some effect on the buyer's view. So that's pretty much everybody. I really wonder who that 5% is. Over 81% of buyers find it easier to visualize the property as their future home. No surprise when it's staged, right? That gets down to we need to give them the vision. Almost a third of buyers are willing to overlook property faults when the home is staged. So that means when you're dealing with a home and you see it's on a busy street, or it's got a teeny yard, or all those property faults that come in, and we've seen these new home builders, propping up now all over. Home builders are all over the place now, which is very cool to see. That's kind of finally coming back. Those properties have faults, but they always have model homes, right? They know the value of staging. 12% of real estate agents believe that staging increases the dollar of at least 11 to 20% more. And I want to tell you, those 12% of agents are correct, because when we did our own statistics, and I surveyed over 3,500 homes and in the market, you can see here that look at it. You can see 46% sold for 10% or over. The green sold for 15% over comparable unstaged. And then the other little 2% tan, I got mixed up on those two. So over 50%, if you add this, and this, sold for well over 10%. So those agents are right. Versus an unstaged home. Staging matters, staging works. And these are the stories that we have to tell our clients. So what does it take to be a successful stager? One of the keys is also researching your area and knowing yourself. So I know a lot of you on the line are going, I don't know if this is for me, I just don't know. I want you to research your area. What are home stagers up to? Go to our directory. We have a directory of our members, active members. Go to the RESA directory. RESA, guys, in case you don't know, is the Real Estate Staging Association. That is a trade association for our industry. And they have their own directory. They have their conference in Vegas every year. I speak at it every year. It's next week. It's so much fun. So any of you on the line going to that conference, just a little shout out in the chat box. I'm just curious. Make sure you come up and say hello to me. Anyway, so look at stagers' websites to see what's going on out there. And if you are, that one question that Teresa asked, how do I know if I'm not in a saturated market? Oh, good, we got some people. Go to realtor.com. This is how you know you are not in a saturated staging market. This is my tip. Go to your realtor.com, search your area. If you see that all of the photos and all of the homes look stellar, they look beautiful and they look staged, because you can always tell a staged one and a unstaged home. If they all look beautiful and they all look staged, you're in a saturated area. But I have news for you. I've never seen any city anywhere that every home looks already beautifully staged. And here's the other thing. It's not just about staging. It is also about design. And here's the other thing. If you're in a market where you do look and you see a lot of homes that are staged, it's good. It means your agents in your market are also a little savvy. But another good thing is to find your niche. And finding your niche in this industry, I have found, is kind of important. And this is what I'm going to explore with you right now. What is your niche? Is it vacant staging? Is it occupied staging, design, color? You know, which one, or all of them? And that's okay. But what I have found is the two different ways that I find that stagers and my members take their business is consultation based or vacant. It's usually kind of one or the other at the end of the day. And I'm going to give you kind of outline the way you would do it. The way you know you're going to go one way or the other in this industry is budget is a factor, time is a factor. And here's the big picture. You don't need to make a decision now if you're thinking about jumping into this industry and, I don't know, do I do vacants, do I not? I know the vacant thing scares people. I'm going to break that down a little bit for you. It's not that hard. But the big picture is you got to know yourself to control your business. Even stagers who have been in business for years, I see sometimes they don't necessarily control their business. And here's what you need to know. If you are, and I want you to soul search right now on this slide, if you have family, kids, and time constraints, pick a consultation-based staging, color, redesign business. I have good news for you. I have a lot of people, that's what they do. And they make great money. Maybe not the money that someone does when they have a warehouse and inventory and they're managing a ton of vacant projects, but they do very well. I did a story on Asha in one of my blogs. They do very well just going in, passing out their objective expertise to the clients and doing occupied staging and color and redesign. And there's plenty of occupied business out there because, of course, a lot of the homes on the market are not all vacant, right? So if you have monetary constraints, you know, I have a lot of people who email me, Audra, I want to get into this business so badly, but how much money does it take to start? Well, you know, I always say this is a great industry in the sense that it's a home-based business, so it doesn't take a ton. You're gonna need like your cell phone, some insurance, there's just some basic monetary requirements, but if you have less than 2,000, then you pick a consulting-based business to start, right? Because you don't have the money to invest in accessories and inventory, and that is okay. If you want to create a big business with lots of profit and time and money investment is not as much a factor, pick a vacant-based business and invest in inventory. Our training, I just want you to know, it's designed to dip your toe in both because I find that people don't necessarily know what they want until they dip their toe in both, and we kind of walk you through that step and see. But here's how you kind of know and which one of these scenarios describes you, because I'm going to describe it because I'm kind of now, I kind of dig into personality types. So this is what I found. Vacant stagers, kind of no consultation, it's kind of bid measure style. These are people who love to work with a blank canvas. They do not like working with people's stuff. And they like the rhythm of consistent placement. It's fairly consistent. Once you have the vacant thing down, it's kind of place, place, place. You're not working with people's stuff, so you're not having to work with frantic sellers as much typically. So, and my vacant stagers have an uncompromising eye for detail. They really, it's got to have that model home look. Cons, they do work a lot of hours, weekends. They need more capital to start. I talked about that. Bigger investment in inventory, storage, warehousing, assistance, movers, moving trucks. I walk people through that in my training. It's kind of a stair-stepped approach because I don't want you over-investing. Pros, this is where you make. For those of you who are doing the corporate work and you now want, you still want to make that 6 figures, this is how they do it. And you can succession plan a little bit easier. So that's kind of what the vacant staging looks like. And if you want to see what it looks like in photo format, here's a Christine Ginsburg, vacant home to vacant. So you see how she works with the blank canvas, and she's like an artist, right? She's a painter, painting on her canvas, creating that perfectly staged room. And yeah, in the chat box, you could say, awesome, beautiful, gorgeous. Yes, it is. It's great work. So I got to brag. She was a RESA, one of my HSR grads, RESA Stager of the Year award winner, which is no small task. So let's go to the next, because who doesn't love looking at photos? Let's see if I can get this. All right, before. Oops. All right, we've got a little, hold on one second. Okay. Got a little phone ringing here that we need to stop. All right, sorry about that. All right, here's one. This was Donna Dazzo, Manhattan. Different beast. If you're a Manhattan stager, right, really different. Beast, these homes are worth, what is this, the most expensive place to live in the world? Let's get to that after. I don't know why this isn't going. There it is, after. Wow, beautiful, right? Beautiful, stunning. Yeah, Karen says I'd like to be a vacant stager. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Love how Donna mixed, you know, a lot of different trending items here, right? And we're going to talk about that, but look how beautiful that is. And who doesn't want to look at a little bit more? Let's see. Trying to get this. Michelle Minch, one of my staging mentors. In fact, all of those gals are my staging mentors, meaning you can actually go and watch them work. You can job shadow for them for the day. We have a staging mentor program. This is Michelle from Movie Mountains in LA. Luxury homes, beautiful. Inserting that purple, who would have thought, right? Lavender, spectacular. All right. My thing does not like it. I'm gonna go smaller screen. Sorry guys, you might have to go fuller screen to see these, but it wasn't clicking through as well. It doesn't like it when I have the photos. So vacant stagers have the ability to see a space like this, which otherwise we would be like, yuck, right? And do this. So just, you know, blank canvas, creating the space. Airy Interior, Susan Baca, she just sent me these photos last week, and I love her story because you can see, I love just even looking at these photos because she's mixing a lot of the neutrals, and that is a trend I'm seeing a lot, mixing neutrals of gray and beige and white. It's just a complete neutral palette, but look how great that looks. And Susan said here, and I'm gonna see if I can go full screen here so you can see, just sent me this email. The training course gave her the confidence to make a break. She came from corporate America, that was her story, to follow her dreams and start her home staging business. Once she knew that staging vacant homes would be her primary direction, then she was able to start down that road of investing. It's not for the faint of heart, it's really true. This is her she's entering in her 3rd year of business, and she's preparing to graduate from storage units into a warehouse. Woo! So exciting. These are stories I love, and that's the progression that I teach in my training, right? Slowly create overhead, not all of it. I got a heartbreaking email from somebody who took another training program, and I don't know what or no training program, and she invested in all this inventory and storage, but she didn't have the business. So you can't do that. You have to have marketing and business that gets you going. Anyway, so she's excited. It was a game changer. Thanks, Susan. So I thought I'd share it because I just love her photos. So what does occupied stagers look? So now that I've sold you on the vacant staging, now I want you to look at occupied staging, and you may kind of like this. It's consultation based. It's relationship dependent. If you are a really good people person, this could completely be for you. These are for people who they love seeing that aha moment on their clients' eyes. They love to see it. They like the challenge of working with their client's stuff, and they love that moment that they see in their client's eyes when they make that transformation. They love the creativity. They like solving design issues, right? They're a whirlwind. They go in, they do amazing things, and then they're out. Really good with people. Not that my vacant stagers aren't. And they have an extreme eye for detail, of course. We all do. You have to for staging, but they can relent because, you know, let's face it, you're working with people's stuff, and sometimes not everyone can do it the way we want it. So, but here's the pros of a consultation-based model. It's zero overhead, less schlepping, more time-based freedom, and you can start that business easily for under $2,000. Cons, you're relying on more volume. You make a little less money, right? Because you're in and out. Money's based on your time. And if this is your market, you should have alternative consultation revenue. This is why in my training, I don't just talk about staging. I also talk about design. I talk about holiday design. And then I also talk about organization, window coverings, the business of window coverings. This is all the areas that we've expanded in the training over the last 10 years. And we touch base on color. So Melanie's, this is a before photo, guys. I want you to see that. But Melanie walked into this home before photo. She is an occupied staging job, consultation based. And you can see she just walked into this home, And you look to the left and it's the formal dining room, but when you look, you can see the dining room's there and it opens up to what probably should have been the dining room, but it's an office. So what does the occupied stager do in this situation? They rework the space. She grabbed these, I got the beauty of seeing the whole house and all its, we see the whole house and all of its pieces as inventory and we move it around. So she grabbed these pieces from a sunroom and outside deck area that was kind of a very secondary area that didn't need to be there, and she made a living room space, made the dining room truly what it should be, a dining room, and now the space looks 100% better, right? I mean, look, and she just used what they had. I love that. It's kind of like, you know, zero budget client. I'm walking in, I'm going to use what you already own and love, and I'm going to completely dial in your space, because most people don't know how to arrange furniture correctly. Most people design room by room. They don't look at places as movable pieces. Most people don't know how to hang art correctly, scale, all those things. So I love this. She did a great job, and so I had to brag about her as well. So broadening your services. If the consultation base is for you, which a lot of people are, consider broadening your services, because even Susan, my vacant stager, she said that even her vacant jobs are turning into redesign. So a great staging job, good news, always turns into redesign. A client that you bond with, a client that you just connect with, is gonna want you in the home that they're moving into. That's why so many stagers out there are taking interior designer work. Who is the #1 target market for an interior designer? It's the new move-in, it's kind of the new homeowner. And the new homeowner has already had their home staged. So they're kind of connected to a designer already, and that is a stager. So start with staging, and then I see so many of my members, they start there and then they just transition to referral-based design. Now I have people start with staging because staging is just so easy to market, and we're going to talk about that in a bit. So what is redesign, in case you're wondering? Redesign, interior styling, interior showcasing, a lot of the same terms, but basically working with what people have and love to create a perfect personal environment. I love this quote from Winston Churchill, so I had to include that. This is one reason why I created the Certified Color Expert Training Program. This is a separate training than the staging and redesign, because not everybody loves color. But a lot of times there is such a need for color experts and color consultations. So my vision for this is very similar to staging. I believe that color, I think 10 years from now, people are not going to make paint decisions for their home without bringing in a color consultant. And so I have the same vision I told you I had for staging 10 years ago. Now I'm working that vision also into color, because if you love color, it's a 3-day course. And it basically is the perfect consultation base for stagers who want to expand their business. Color opens doors to design. People think they can kind of redesign, rework their things, but people are afraid of paint, rightly so. And I talk about that, you're gonna tell the ugly story with paint. Did you know that like over 80% of paint sales in the North America are because people made mistakes? Is that surprising? If you're on this line and you've made a mistake with paint, which I think all of us have, go ahead and put in the chat box. Is that you? Have you made a mistake? Yeah, I was pregnant and I painted my entire house bright yellow. So that was a problem. I will answer questions at the end too. So don't worry about it. I'm seeing questions in the chat room. Save them, because I'm not looking at the chat room now. I'm good. Yeah, I'm just looking at to just make sure you're still there and alive. Thank you. But I will take questions at the end of this. So save it to put into the chat room later at the end of this session. Color is complicated. It is not for everyone. So I want you to know that if you're a stager, you don't need to know and love color, right? In my training, I give you kind of basic paint colors that work for staging. They're done, no problem. But if you love color, then you might want to consider this. And this is one of my first special offers I'm going to give you. So I want you to, and it's really on our color training program. All right, here we go. Special offer. Hopefully you see it. But basically what it is if you want to take our 3-day Certified Color Expert Training course. I'm offering it at a discount, a significant discount today. Webinar, live webinar people only. Even if you're like not sure, you might still want to click on that webinar discount price button, and it'll just open up a new screen and you can have it at least saved. I don't want you to have any regrets with, oh, I should have bought the color course back during the webinar, you know, because I have a lot of people who do that. They contact me a week later, can I buy it? Sorry. You know, this is kind of me thanking you for being on this webinar, so I have these specials. So you might want to open that up. Here's what it includes. There's a lot. Color is just different, right? So I have a lot of tools. I walk you through. It's an online course, and I have a 6-step process for attacking color in the home. And once you get through this process, 3 days course, you're going to feel super confident picking colors. I take all the mystery out of it, and then I also show you, of course, how to market your business, build it, pricing. You can charge more for color because there's a little bit more expertise there. So there's a lot to it, but I just want you to see that. Let's see if I'm going to go back to chat room. All right. People are talking about their color mistakes still in the chat room. All right, so if you wanted that, you click on that link. I'm just going to keep that up. But so now what? Where are we looking at? Some stagers do a little bit of both. I told you that, but eventually they discover their niche. Now, why am I talking about this in this training, especially for those of you who are even just exploring the industry? Because this is what I found, and this is what I train on. When you can discover your niche, it allows you to be intentional in your shopping and your resource connecting, in your business plan and in your pricing, and in your marketing, because you know yourself and you know what you want to do. So recognizing what you can and you cannot take on in the beginning, but at least taking the call. I get these panicked emails from some of my members, or I'm in week 1 and I got a call, because when you join our training, you go straight into the directory, and so you do sometimes get calls. You don't have to. You can be not in the directory, you know, that's fine, but I always encourage people to, because I told you, you have the art, you have the sickness. What I'm going to show you is how to refine that sickness. And just taking the call. We learn from everything, right? But recognizing red flags, and I don't mean to put fear in you, but I have to say this. I usually talk about that too in the training, is recognizing clients are red flags. There's going to be that small percentage of your clients that you will not want to work with. And one thing that I recommend, so this is a hot tip, and this is something, obviously, we have over 100 forms in our training, so this is just one of the many pre-appointment kind of order sheets, depending on who you're who's calling in. But this is the way I have people kind of remove a little bit of red flags, or kind of recognize red flags, to make sure a client is a good client for you. The beauty of being an entrepreneur is you don't need to take every call that comes your way. And sometimes some clients are not a fit, and you need to recognize those, because when you do, you remove that kind of 2% of the clients that are going to give you 90% of your headaches, life is beautiful. So this is kind of the way we screen them out. Asking the right questions, right? Days on the market, list price. There's a lot of key questions, taking the credit card, all that good stuff. And so I have kind of these tips and tools, but understanding that. Tip number 5, how are you going to get your, you're recognizing red flags, recognizing yourself, recognizing your niche. You need to communicate your value. Why should a client pick you? So professionalism, number 1, in everything you deliver. This is what separates. Anyone can say they're a stager. Anyone can hang up a shingle and do that. And I think it's great. That's what I love about this industry. You have the art, let's do it. But professionalism still matters. So in everything you deliver, from your forms to your marketing materials, your website, your resources, your staging report, understand that you have so much value in your extreme expertise. Told you that you have this sickness. You have been refining your art through your passion for however old that you are. Because if you've been rearranging rooms since you were little, you know this. Staging is an art form. I cannot give someone a checklist who does not have the sickness and have them really do it. That's why we need to walk through the home with clients and walk them through it. And we can tell them the expertise, the objective expertise, but there's no such thing as a check. Design is art. Having those vendor connections. This is also another important thing. This is what makes a stager valuable. Is having those key people in your life that you can refer to for your clients that you know are going to do a good job for them. Also having your trade connections. We're going to talk about that for shopping. In my training, I have over 100 member discount trade connections with just the direct link. So you're just click, 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 and apply. Not all staging is equal, especially vacant staging. We've all seen that online. I like this little form. I always throw it in. It's kind of a reinforcer to remind people that it would be like saying all couches are equal or all chairs are equal, but they're not all equal, right? Depending on where you get them. IKEA, Pottery Barn, To The Trade, or Bespoke, you can see pricing differs and it's different. So it is important to build those vendor connections. That's another key to success. So you're thinking about, okay, it's exciting. Now I get to shop To The Trade. So if you are thinking about getting into staging, but you're shopping all the time, this is just one reason you should be a stager. Because let me tell you, you're going to save a lot. You build your valued vendor list and you get your trade accounts. Now, of course, these trade account providers aren't just going to let any old schmo, apply. So, I walk you through, you get your reseller license, and you have your training. So they want to see that you're invested in training, and that's kind of the difference. But you get your trade accounts. I've talked about I have over 100 essential shopping resources because numbers create influence. I have over 3,000 stager members, active staging members. So if you see somewhere you want a discount, you just tell me, and I say, I've got 3,000 people want to shop here. Help me out. Another great place to get serious trade discounts is at the market. The Las Vegas market is in just over a week. It coincides with the RISA convention. So I noticed some of you on the line are going. I'm so glad to see you at the RISA convention. Please, if you're interested to get information, you can go to risaconvention.com, make a note. But the Las Vegas market is there, and that's where you create those valuable accounts and you get those deep trade discounts. High Point is obviously another place to do it. But here's some of my top shopping sources, because this is, you don't have to do all that, so I don't need to scare you. This is what designers do. That's if you're doing a lot of vacant staging and design. Sometimes I'm just referring clients to, some of my favorite places. They're just going to Wayfair. If you don't know Wayfair, it's pretty much everything under the sun. Oh, Pottery Barn. Pottery Barn, family of companies, is a great place. I love it, love it, love it, right? Who doesn't? I mean, and these are kind of the items we talked about that in the lower price, more affordable items for your clients. Props America. It's another great source for stagers because everybody asks, how do you get those fake TVs? Those flat screen TVs? There you go, Props. And getting the member discount. Ballard Design. It's another one of my favorite places. I list in my member discounts. Once you go through a training, you get your trade discount. Now, you don't get as deep a discount, obviously, from the less expensive places like Pottery Barn and Ballard Designs. And you really don't get any discount from a Target or Home Goods. So I always have people ask me that. Karen asks, how do you build vendor connections? You get some education, you get your certification, and then you're able to go in and connect with all these vendors and you have your reseller license. So that's, I walk you through it, but absolutely. But Ballard I love. So you can go onto Ballard, they send you catalogs and you can see you get 15 to 20% or even sometimes more. Bellicor I love is a great lighting place. Great sourcing for lighting. And this is my new favorite, Paragon. This is art. If you're wondering, if you go to model homes and you're wondering, how do they get this beautiful artwork here? They've got thousands of dollars worth of artwork. It's true. Paragon is actually sponsoring, one of the sponsors for the RISA conference, which is super cool. And they have trade. So when you have a full-time when you're a stager, when you get into the staging realm industry, these are one of the benefits of being a stager. So you get that trade, shopping, and Paragon, you get deep discounts on beautiful art. I love it. So those are just some of my top favorites. Here's what you look for. So don't start shopping yet, right? You need to know what to look for. You need lightweight, neutral base, large pieces. Even if you're using movers, guys, you do not want things that are heavy. But always think kind of large. So you need neutral. When you're thinking of your really large pieces, you think light colors, creams, beiges, whites, pale grays for your large pieces. And you saw that in some of those vacant photos that I showed you. It just goes with everything. Slipcover, white, cream, gray. And then that way it's super easy to accessorize with our trends. I always say trends are friends, right? They are. So you can splash some mid-century modern, you can splash some of the, Pantone color of the year, and you can mix that up when it comes to our accessories, right? So we embrace trends because we know when buyers walk in, when they see something on trend, it's like, God, they're in love with it, right? And then you stick with the basics, white towels and sheets. And, Target Home Goods is still probably the best place to buy those things. And they're fluffy and great. So that's kind of a hot tip for that. For accessories, other great accessories, I always say go 20 by 20 on your living room, your pillows, big, not those little pithy pillows. A lot of times we'll go, Etsy is one of my favorite sources for pillows, pillow covers. Get the 20 by 22 inserts in those pillows. You get a big, one size bigger insert for your pillows. And if you would, just save your questions in the chat room. I'd love to get to them, but I need you to save them, and then I can get to them because I won't be able to screen down. Large, just think large vases, trays. Obviously trays, we always anchor our vignettes, because remember, we are merchandising the space. It's like a window merchandising at a department store. Canvases, glass jars, neutrals, books without jackets. I always go to the Friends of the Library. They're cheap. Fake TV, I showed you that Props America fruit. And here's just some good examples. I actually have a board. I have a link in the notes that I sent you. I have kind of a curated Pinterest board. I have some of my favorite staging accessories because they're tools like the monkey hooks. I had a designer I talked to who's been designing for years. She did not know what these monkey hooks are. These things alone will save you so much time and energy in hanging art. You do not have to measure or do any of that boring stuff. These little hooks, you use your fingers, you place it in the wall, and they can hold like 100 pounds. They're little miracles, my monkey hooks. So go to this section, and you're going to love those little hot tips for hanging art. Okay, there. And I got to feature one of our last RISA Stager of the year was another HSR grad. 3 of the 4 last RISA Stagers of the year has been one of my peeps. So it makes me very proud. Brad Fletcher. And you can see he used, I love these little bar stools, kind of, on trend kind of accessories, and just beautiful. Looks good. Okay. And Donna, again, I love how she mixed some on-trend items, obviously the acrylic tables, little mid-century modern, and then she weaves a gentle color, Paragon art, it looks like. A lot of times she actually, not Paragon art, she actually, I know, uses an art gallery and allows the art gallery to feature their art in her homes. These are luxury homes, and it's kind of a win-win. How great is that? It gives you some ideas on just accessorizing and items. How do you make a bed? Look at how luxurious you make it. You make it like this. Hotel. Think hotel room. Of course, blue and white. I love it. It's very hot. Navy's been hot. I called Navy back in 2014. It's still pretty hot. Here's a Paragon art. Love this, big art. Lots of greenery. Just gorgeous. So I know I love to look at photos and think themes. For vacants, I love kids' rooms, and you can kind of create a theme for the room. And this is kind of that spectator sporting child. My boys would love this. It's just a Pottery Barn poster, So knowing where to source some of the items, that's why I said one of the links I gave you in those notes is just getting connected to your catalogs, becoming a good shopper. I know a lot of you are. You're always going to be refining your art, always going to be training your eye. The difference between staging and design is subtle, right? It really is. Some of my best stagers were my interior designers. If you're an interior designer thinking about getting into staging, it's a lot of people get into interior design, but they really just wanted to do staging and redesign. They didn't want the whole interior design thing. And I love this quote by Seth Godin. The reason art is valuable is precisely why I can't tell you how to do it. If there was a map, there'd be no art, because art is the act of navigating without a map. But I want to encourage you, because you have the sickness. I get emails all the time. People have this fear before I jump into marketing. They have this big fear of going into the home. Audra, what if I don't know what I'm doing? What if I don't know how I'm going to transform the space? Trust me, you have this sickness, you do. You do. Once you go through a training and you read through all that, you do. And I get these emails afterward where they tell me, I knew just what to do. My instincts kicked in and I loved it and I can't believe I'm getting paid for it. So how great is that? So how do we, get you into staging? And, one of the big hotbed questions that I saw was marketing. Market, how do I get my phone to ring? This doesn't happen overnight, right? I have a 5-step marketing plan process, and it starts with you. It starts with your brand. You are your brand, and you are the reason why people are going to buy from you. That's good news. So I start you out, you're building your foundation, your business foundation, building your connections, building your trade discounts. You're working on your image, your website, your marketing materials. In our training, we have all this for you, that this is, a lot of what people, you are your brand, you have to look good. And we walk you through this. Being found, this is key. If you are a stager right now and you're not getting business, it could be you're just not being found online, and it really starts with online. I told you my background's internet marketing. So one of the things one of the links that's in that training that's really hot is Facebook ads. So if you are worried, if you want to be found, you can follow. I did a free video on a blog video a couple months ago on Facebook advertising, getting your phone to ring. And I really explore that in depth in the training, so that I want people's phones to ring. That's how it works. And then, of course, intentional networking, getting your business out there. And then the great thing about the staging business is every job you do is a reference to your work. So business kind of grows. I call it getting over the hump. But once you get a couple staging jobs and you PR them right, if you follow kind of my PR process, it works. Splurge on a logo. Consider doing that. I love 99 Designs. It's great, easy, cheap. Connect your business in all the directories online. So if you're a new stager, you haven't done that, Yelp, Houzz, Thumbtack, all the directories that people will be searching for you. Grow your email and social media. Social media you cannot ignore. It is still important. And then, of course, have an automated system. And that's that video I told you that I featured, that link on Facebook. Have it automating your marketing. You do not want to be spinning your wheels on too much of that. Consider spending on, what I see really works in marketing. The beauty of it is once you get your business going, once we got your website up, you run a Google pay-per-click, you run a Facebook ad, your house, spend a little money, the work comes your way. Especially, guys, the good news is it's January this time of year. We're entering into the spring selling season. This is when things get crazy busy for stagers. The secret is having a gorgeous, credible internet presence creates a busy stager. So you have to supercharge your website. I can't say enough about it. Some of you, guys, you got to know, websites are like iPhones. If you are a stager and you're still using the same website you had 5 years ago, it's not going to work. It's not working very well. It's not really helping your marketing. Your website is your client's first impression. 50% of your visitors are coming from mobile home phones, so you need that website to be mobile friendly. Have a click to call button, a photo slideshow that works on all devices. Focus on conversion, lead capturing. We want people, if you're spending money driving people to your website, we want to capture them. And WordPress is really your best source for search engine optimization. The good news is, if this is the kind of stuff that completely freaks you out, we do websites for you. That's why we have our website product. So if you're not familiar with HomeStager Resource, we have the training, we also have a website product. And the reason I have that, we don't make money on it, is because I don't want that slowing up your business. I thought of people like my mom who wanted to get into staging when I got into staging, and a website would have just, forget about it. So we have that for people. We have a premium website and hosting. It's $4.99 for a year. And it's really just because time is money. But certainly you can do a website on your own. And a lot of people in staging, obviously get into it, and they do, and that's fine. But we don't want that to hold up your business. So if it scares you, we've got it all covered. So let's talk about making 2017 your year. Home staging is a great business model. If you're on this line, maybe I talk to a lot of people who are retired and now they're considering jumping into something they want to do. I got to tell you, it's a great group of people. You really can't go wrong. And the wonderful business model is it builds on itself. It's easy to market, and there's a necessity, and it allows you to do what you love. But investing in yourself is just essential to your success. It really is. Somebody asked in the question, will those resources be included? Yeah, everything's in our certification program. So I have to side note. And it comes down to professionalism plus resources plus your marketing plus what you bring to the table, your art is success. Bring me your art, we'll make this happen. Entrepreneurialism is all about learning. So here's my one time, this is my special for you. And I never ever, discount our program. We have had the same price for our program since I started, and I've always added to it. And I never discount it, except I'm doing this in this webinar. So I'm just displaying my offer here. Hopefully you see that. Limited time, just because you stayed. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for staying. I've still got a little more to offer, go over, and I am going to go over questions, but I'm going to keep this discount up. $50, that's huge. We never discount. Covers everything we talked about and more, and we're going to talk about more. I'll keep that up. If you're even on the fence, open that link for yourself, because then you have it open and you haven't lost it. Because there's a lot to know. I mean, I know that. I can't, in 1 hour, I can't cover it. We can't cover it all, but I can cover it all in a 3-week training. It is 3 weeks. And you may be thinking, 3 weeks. Guys, if you can create a successful business so that you're going to be my Charles 10 years from now. I told you the very first sign-up who signed up with me, Charles, over 10 years ago, is now making what? Well, he just, he's still killing it in business, well over 6 figures. And he supercharges business doing a training, but it's 3 weeks of hard work. The good news is, guys, it's self-paced. The training is self-paced. You have a year, but it's day 1, training overview. You're reserving your name if you haven't already. Day 2, all about consultations. I have a very specific process that I know works. The white is design modules. So I want you to be refining your design work all the way through the training. Day 3, I have my HSR guide, pricing, process, service, your plans, everything's covered. Walk and talk videos, it's all online, it's at your fingertips, and it's all there for you at the click of a button. And that's what's cool about it. The classroom's online. A lot of you maybe have taken a classroom and then you walk away and 2 months later you're like, what did I learn? Or you're watching this webinar and a month from now you're like, what did she go over? Guess what, guys? The classroom's online. It's all there. So if you like the way this presented, you're gonna love this stuff. But it's 3 weeks. I'm not lying, guys. It's 3 weeks. I've had some people take 3 months. I've some people get through it in 3 weeks. But if you can create a successful business model in a month, that you're my Charles 10 years from now, how awesome is that? And we are more like a franchise where I'm giving you the exact formulas. I've been doing this a long time, guys. We were the first Reset accredited training program back in 2009. So we kind of know what works. Week 2 is all about marketing and vacant staging. And week 3, I'm expanding your business because I want you to be, total gurus. And I know you're going to get asked redesign, alternative incomes, realtor partnerships, how to shop, window coverings, feng shui, model homes, holiday design, organizing. We're covering all of that good stuff in this training. Nora said it takes more than 3 weeks. Depends. The thing is that I'm a resource for your business. And that's the beauty of the training. You have access for a year and it's your resource because we give you things. So in the training, you're not reinventing. We give you, I told you we had 100 forms. So here's one, staging cheat sheets to give to your realtor clients. Red flag checklists to give for your realtor clients to give to their buyer clients, right? So we've done kind of the pre-work. Pricing and pricing plans, it's already in there. We walk you through pricing for occupied staging. And of course, don't forget pricing for vacant staging. It's all there. Remember your order form. So when people are calling in, you ask all the right questions. You've got it all right there for your realtors, your sellers, your builders, your design clients. And don't forget your action plans. I don't want you to be at a loss. When you walk through that consultation, walk and talk, we give you a very detailed report with checklists. So you're bang, 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 checking through, walking through with the client. This is just a picture, guys, of our living room, family room checklist. So it gives you an idea of all that's there. And don't forget agreements, guys, contracts. You got to get covered. We want to make sure you've thought of everything when you created that, especially for your design work. Oh, and checklists. I'm so anal, guys, I know. So checklists all on the way. I don't want you to forget. Here's your consultation checklist. Bang, bang, bang. Make sure you bring everything. Make sure you have the tools that you need. Make sure you have the accessories that you need to have a killer consultation. So there's just a few of the 100 forms that we offer. And here's just a nice little testimonial that Claudia sent me the other day. And it's just cool, you know. She's finding her niche. She sees the void. You are going to be a business guru by the end of it. So, questions. I've got some questions. Aura, is everything online or are we getting stuff in the mail? Oh, great question. I should have mentioned. You get a huge training manual, 300+ page training manual. All our guides are in print because I don't like having to read things online. The only thing that you are downloading is our design modules because they're filled with photos of rooms, right? And we can't print those in color very affordably to keep under that $1,000 mark. Oh, Lynn, well worth it in resources alone. Teaches you things you don't know. Thanks, Lynn. Other questions. So important things, developing an inventory. I kind of already talked about that question for realtors photo shoot. But I do actually have a specific inventory list in the training of some of the items I think are important even to bring in for staging days. Giving those clients that visual of what to shop for is so important. It's called that aha moment, right? So building that inventory, where you find them. A lot of this stuff can even be just found at, you know, Home Goods. It doesn't have to cost you a lot. You don't have to much spend. I give you all the price sheets. Yeah, you're going to know what to charge your client. And I walk you through best practices because I see a lot of people go wrong when it comes to pricing. I know it's hard to ballpark. What's the average price for a whole house stage? Are you kidding me? Is this $1 million home? Is this a $100,000 home? But don't worry, there's a formula to it. And it is a room by room build out. And it starts with, okay, where you live, and where you're getting your furniture rental companies. I have those partnerships in my training. So if we're talking vacant homes, we walk you through that. What if we like the premium website with the discounted training? Can that be added on? Yes, Sarah, absolutely. Get the discount now. Once you're a member of our training, then you can go to the member store and buy the website. That website price, $4.99, does not change as of yet. So you keep the discount. Why do you have to buy inventory for vacants? It's too expensive to rent. No, Beth, I actually have a process for that. I recommend you start building, if you are doing vacant staging, you start building out accessories. The rental company will not have all the gorgeous accessories needed to make those vacant homes look fantastic. So I actually have a step-by-step process where you're buying the art, starting out with, and then guess what? That way you make money on those things. You're making money. It's an alternative income stream, which is cool. Lynn, great idea. Join your RESA local chapter. I agree. Taya, yes. When you go through our program, you become certified in home staging and redesign, and there's always continued education. I mean, in the last year, I added, the last couple of years, I added the model home, the holiday design. Do you have to take those? No. But are you glad that that's there in the training if you want to tackle Christmas design? Yes. So I'm always adding to it. I can't help it. I told you, my passion is empowering design people with the sickness in their business. And that's what I love to do for staging, design, everything. Any suggestions on books, webinars to be a better networker? I have attended realtor events, but I have a hard time. This is Lisa, breaking the ice, talking about my business. Yes, I actually have some suggestions. Actually, in our training, we have 4 realtor PowerPoint presentations. So if some of you guys are great presenters, you can take it, tweak it, and then you can present in front of agents to get in and break in. But I gotta tell you, Lisa, it starts, you're jumping to phase 4 in my marketing plan. I want your phone to start ringing because your business is connected. So let's get your website and business and everything connected everywhere first. And I have a very specific plan for that so that some of my members, their phone's ringing and they're not having to go through the fear of all that intentional marketing. Sarah, if you add on to the courses, do we have access to that? Yeah, I'm always adding and you always have access. Isn't that great? And the price doesn't change. How do you get hired with new builders? Anita asked that question. Anita, I have a PowerPoint presentation in the training for new home builders and a marketing process, and also links to where you connect with them because they're their own little breed, and also real estate investors. So if you find that that could be your niche, I have a lot of members that's their niche. It is in the training. Do you recommend working with realtors as your clients or the homeowners or both? Kim asked that question. Agents. So here's the beauty of staging versus interior design and why it's such a great business model is agents have the ability to constantly give you business. An agent you know and love who loves you and knows you're going to do a great job is constantly going to give you work. And that's what's wonderful about this industry versus design where you're always hustling. So for those of you on the line, I just have to step back because I know there's a lot of you on the line who have been scoping out this training, thinking about doing this for years. I mean, on the line, some of you probably 5 years have been reading my stuff. And I just want you to know there's no better time. And sometimes it just takes that push. You need to pull the trigger. You won't regret it. I know you won't regret it. I've told you I've trained thousands of people and I've never heard anyone have regrets. So I just want you to think about that. You've got that discount and take that moment. Because this could be your moment. This could be, this is what I do hear from my members. They remembered that moment where I wrote that blog that said, is it gonna be you? Is this gonna be your time? And that's what made them do it. I know timing's important and maybe it's not your timing because there is a small investment when you're starting this business, but I have a lot of people who you are able to easily go through an online training while you're working, and that's the beauty for it. And so that's why I'm talking to you now too in January, such a good time because I told you the real estate market gets so hot in spring, so you've got a couple months to get through this training, to build your business and be ready to release and jump in, as Teresa says. How do I know it's going to be a strong year for staging? All indicators say yes. Check to make sure your market's not saturated. I showed you marketing tools. I even have, somebody said starting your business, Gabriella. I have a first 50 guide on all the things I want you to do when you're starting your business, from taxes to accounting to lawyers to opening up your checking account to getting a credit card to using a Square app to taking payment. All of that is covered. So if you're wondering about all that sales stuff, it's in there. I even have a section for phraseology. How do you speak to clients? I have a phone script. How do you sell clients on the value of what you do? So it is there. How many hours per day is the course for weeks? Anita, how quickly can you absorb the materials? But I would say it's 4 to 6 hours. So if you were working full time, yeah, he said 3 to 4 hours. Hey, Scott's assuming you can absorb the material a little faster. Many realtors are training on home staging. Linda said this. This is a great question. If you're on the line and you're a real estate agent, you have to have the sickness. A lot of agents are training on staging, but here's the deal. Being a very successful agent and being a very successful home stager are two very full-time jobs. And does the agent do the inspection and the appraisal and the escrow? No. So you have to have the sickness. Now, do I have agents who go through my course because, frankly, they got into real estate because they have the sickness and they love homes? Yes. And a lot of times what they do is they transition their business into staging, and then they start doing more staging than real estate. So those are if I would say, those are the agents that do well. They jump in and they do combination of both, and they charge for it. So, right, staging takes time, energy, and it should be charged for it. And trust me, sellers know that it is an art form. Right? They watch HGTV. Everybody knows what HGTV is, so they know not everybody has the design talent. Orlando, thank you, Orlando. One of my veteran mentors is on the line. Orlando's putting in a comment. Connect with staging professionals. This is why I have my staging mentor program, where I have mentors like him, where you can walk through the home and see how they do it. How long do you have access to the website? When you jump into the training, you have access for a year. Renewing, you can decide to renew. I tell people, because you're going to go into our directory, and we have a lot of traffic on our directory. You should be getting business and calls from being in our directory, and that should determine whether it's worth the renewal cost for you, although it's $250 a year to renew your membership yearly, and that keeps you in our directory where you're getting business and keeps you access to all the training and all the add-ons that I'm always doing. Anyway, guys, I am going to, I've already gone long and I so apologize. I'm going to keep the screen up, try to answer some more questions. I just want you to know, if you have questions, we have a phone number. Not every training company does, but we do. And we have a website too, where I have a lot of information, whether staging's for you. The offers are expiring soon, so don't wait. So we do, somebody asked, do we have a payment plan for the course? We do, but it is not included in the offer. So we do have a 2-month and a 3-month payment plan. So that's not included obviously in this offer, but absolutely, you know, it's much easier to just get started, and sometimes people even buy the website later to further break it up. Aura, thank you. Guys, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. I got to tell you, it's a privilege to have you on the line. Thank you so much. And I look forward to working with you and seeing where you take your business in 2017.